Let's look at making some simple brushes. To begin, we're going to get the rectangle tool, and with black fill, no stroke, we are going to make one rectangle. Holding my Alt key, I'm going to pull that down. One more time, I'm going to pull that down. And I want to select all three of these and make sure that they're aligned and that their spacing is perfect. Now, when I make brushes, I like to make them pretty small so that I can increase the size instead of struggling to decrease. I think even smaller than that. So we have just 3 vertical bars, and I have them selected. I'm going to go to my brush panel, and before I even save this one brush, I want to clean these out a little bit and get rid of the default ones. We'll leave that. And this is new brush, and we want an art brush. Click OK. And I could have like a dotted line if I had it like this, but I want it to go this direction. And I want it to stretch to fit the stroke length. That way when I draw a line, all 3 of these lines will be side by side. The other thing that I want it to do is to use whatever tint I put in, actually it'll be the stroke by the time you start to use the brush. So I've got the direction. I want to be able to use a tint, stretch to fit the stroke length, and we'll call this Triple Play. I'm going to click OK. And now there's my brush. I want to release that one and select my brush. And let's look at what it'll do. First off, I want no fill. And I want to get a different color. So that's what I have. Just like that, 3 little squares. I have a triple leveled brush. Now I can turn this down a little bit. We'll turn it on 75, and we'll write a letter. There we go. And whatever color I make my stroke, that's the color it'll be. So that's a very simple brush right there. Leave all that. Now another brush that I enjoy making is just a small circle. We'll make it a little bit bigger to begin with. And I want the outside to just be a real soft color, so we'll go with gray. I want to add the inside, I want to be a soft gray. A little softer than that. There we go. And then I want to add just a little highlight, like a glimmer of light on it. So I'm going to add just the pencil tool and just draw kind of a half moon shape. I want that lighter. There we go. And I really don't want any outline on that. I just want a little highlight. Okay, so I have, I'm going to turn that around to the side just a little bit right there. That's where I want it. So I have a circle with just a little highlight. And I want this to be pretty small. Like I said, it's easier to make it bigger. You have a whole lot of choices. You can only go so far down, so I want it pretty small. and my brushes, and we're going to make this into a pattern brush. Now, the only thing that I really need to set up here is, again, that it could be the tint of whatever I put on it, and add space to fit. I want that on. So let's click OK. And we'll get our brush, and I'll get blue, but I don't want any fill, so we'll turn that off. And there we have it. Something like a pearl or a beaded necklace. And it's going to be just a pastel color because this is a soft gray. Now, had I made this black, it would be a darker color. So let me zoom out a little bit, and we could make just like a pearl necklace. If I make this bigger, let's go 3. There you go. So the pearl or beaded necklace, and it's just got that little bit of a highlight on it. Of course, if I just drag straight. So there's 2 really quick and easy brushes. I want to make one more, and this is, instead of just a 5-point star, I want to add to the sides. So I'm using my arrow key while I'm dragging and adding to this. That's good. I want it to be black, but black fill, no stroke. Now, I want to run an effect on it, and this is called Pucker and Bloat. And I want to bloat it. Let me preview so you can see what's going on. And we're going to make, let's see, we'll go all the way. We'll make, I think like that. Just a cool little flower type effect. And again, for me, I like this really small. And we're going to go to new brush, and this time we want a scatter brush. We have this ominous looking menu, the scatter brush options, and the first thing that I want to do is turn all of these on random. And then I'd love to tell you that there's a perfect formula, but honestly, when I start out, I just go down and I click about halfway here. Not perfect science. I don't click halfway here because it's a really big number. So I usually go just slightly over to the side. It gives the variables. I definitely want to use the tint on it and click OK. Now we need to be sure and release that. We'll move it up here out of the way. Release that. And we need a stroke this time, and we'll get pink. Get our brush. We have the scatter brush there, and what we do is just drag along, and you have some brushes. Now here's where you can go back in to the menu, or to the options, I should say. And I'm going to cancel that for a second. I'm going to slide this over just so I can see it better. And now I'm going to go back into the brush options. If I have preview on, then as I set these at different strengths, I can see what my brushes are doing. Alright. Oh, the size quite. No, want the size bigger. The scatter, no. And that's just the twirl of it. They're kind of symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter. But that's how I actually set it, is I play around with this after the fact. And then I can get them just like I want them, which maybe I didn't know to begin with. And there you go. I do want to apply it to my strokes. So now that I have a few brushes, I have the beads and the triple play and my scatter brush, one thing that I can do is save these. I'm going to go to Save Brushes, and it's going to take you to your brush files, and I'll put Making Brushes Part 1, and we're going to save them. And then when I go to my brush libraries, if I go to User Defined, there they are. So no matter whether I'm in this file or I get out of it, they'll be there for me to use later on. And you never know when these are going to come in handy. These are just some very, very basic ideas for brushes. You can make ones for hair. You can make blocks instead of circles like the beads. You can do many, many different things to make brushes. You can see how easy they are. Just select them and add them as a new brush. Have fun with brushes.